Okay, it says I'm live. Sorry, guys. I'm a minute behind. Hey, Simon and who? Okay, there we go. Sorry. Hopefully that'll be the end of that. All the bouncing and pouncing around. So, some subjects that we're gonna have a little conversation about. Hi, and welcome to Restore Belief with Nikki. I'm Nikki. Looks like I'm on. Just got a notification that I'm on. Okay, that's at least something. Let's get out of this. I'm going to do a little bit of business here, folks. Hey, in on Mountain Time for Cheyenne. Awesome. Hi, Drew. Thank you, hon. I appreciate you being here. Okay, there we go. There is that. That's that. Now let's share out. So, live now. Okay. A lot has been taking place with me, as 3 individuals know. A lot in the sense of I've been having more memories, and I'm looking down because I'm trying to get this posted properly. So I'm remembering quite a lot. One of the things that I'm remembering is that more time in space. I'm remembering things I did. I'm remembering military men who were in command. I have one name. I'm not going to publicly state that name yet. I don't know if I ever will. I haven't decided yet. We'll see how I feel. It can be extremely dangerous and detrimental to me if I do. I know this. I know this now. I mean, I've learned. Let's put it that way. Very insidious group of government people. I will say that. There we go. Okay, now everything's taken care of there. Insidious doesn't even begin to cover it. I watched somebody on orders from a military person. They were on orders. I was on orders. And I'm not military in my regular daily life. I've never been. I have been trained from 8 years old. I'm remembering that. I'm really, really pissed off about that. I've made correlations. Just today, I made some realizations regarding I didn't want to say the person's name. Hey, Amy, thank you. Thank you. I know you've been here. I could feel you. The last 3 days have been really wicked on me, to say the very least. And hopefully I can get away. Well, hence, I'm wearing makeup, very little makeup, but makeup. I've been doing, hello, there goes that. I've been doing things to um, help me in different ways, using some of the old techniques I used to use. I didn't wear makeup a lot, even back in the day. Come on, stand firm, stay put. There we go. So I'm doing different things right now. Like I've got a little bit of eyeliner on, the whole face is covered because I was extremely pasty white because I got mascara on. None of it is really can be seen unless you're in person with me. I did very little color on the lips, but they're done. I'm doing things using scent, using lotion, using things that will boost me because this has been wicked. The memories that I've got of what has taken place, what I've seen, what I have been witness to by government, not okay. I had a memory of somebody being murdered right in front of my face by somebody else. And it was essentially an order for suicide by a military person who was in charge. And I'm really pissed about it. Pissed beyond description. Because what I started remembering was that the individual in real life, and I mean real life, their regular daily life went missing. Do I know this person's real name? No. If I did, I would go to that family and I'd say, hey, we need to have a conversation. I don't know if I'd do that. That's what I would want to do. There would be some questions and things that I would not be able to answer. But I'm not okay with what I'm remembering. I did say, I have publicly stated I want to remember. There are a lot of things that I want to remember. There are things that I have witnessed that are not okay. Yes, this involves ETs because the ETs are the negative ETs that do the abductions. Not all the ETs that are in this part of a program are negative, nor are they detrimental. However, that said, they are warriors, true hardcore warriors, battle warriors. Some people I know would call this a super soldier program. Right now, as of this moment and as of last night and my memories, I'm not calling it a super soldier program. I'm calling it a space soldier program because that's what we were dealing with. That's what I was witnessing. I'm really angry and I'm really raw right now. So, there are things that I want said, things that I know I probably should not say. And yeah, grab the toilet paper because there ain't enough Kleenex in this house to cover the amount of crying that I have done in the last 3 days. So, the memories that I'm having, yeah, they're huge. To have a name with a face, to recognize the military man's energy, to have shaken his hand, to have his hand on my body, And I don't mean that in a sexual way. I mean that in an orders type of way. Kind of like a you will do this or you will die type of situation. So I'm not okay with that. Do I think that Congress needs to know about what's going on in a private skiff? Yes, I most certainly effing do. That said, even though I believe that, do I think that I need more memories? I need more solid memories to come forward to be able to define things more than what I have right now. There's no way in hell that anybody would believe that. I know what I'm remembering right now, and I don't mean it the second, but I know how it has affected me. Have you ever done a No. Okay, so Simon, and yeah, I understand, Amy. I'm gonna comment on that in just a moment. Simon's asking, Nikki, have you ever done a hypno regression or something to bring it all out and be done with it? No, I haven't. And I've been consistently told not to do one. And I understand where those individuals are coming from. I've also been told by other individuals to do them because of how much I've already got in my memories. Part of what I realized last night in some of my memories is there is literally a block that they have put on my memories. I can feel it. I started remembering something really major. And I don't know quite how else to explain it, but get off my screen. Stupid thing just popped up on my screen. Hang on a second, guys. Can't see chat. There we go. And it was dangerous information, really dangerous information to remember. And very security issue. Those are kinds of things that I think that it's important for me to remember. But at the same time, I get where they're coming from a safety and or not from a safety, but from a security vantage point. I get that. Do I think it's right? No. As far as I know, as far as I consciously remember, I have not signed any NDA. Now, regarding the government, regarding these things, the correlation that I made this afternoon shocked the holy living hell out of me. The correlation I made regarding J.E., who is known with an island and who was supposedly suicided out in a prison in New York. The realization I made and the potential for this and the correlation for it has just astounded me today. I'm now wondering, I do not have evidence of this. I'm just making ... connections going, oh my God, could this potentially be true? I'm not saying the full name. I'm not saying the island, but you know who I'm talking about. That said, I'm wondering now if some of that had to do with government. to get people involved in certain things. Very sickening. Very, very sickening. So there are people in the community who have had experiences at parties held by people in government, held by Hollywood, held by others, parties. And there are things that are in books, very public books, I might add. Some of them I'm not going to promote for safety security issues. Others I will. It's too dangerous for those individuals, even though I know that they've written books. In my opinion, it's too dangerous. It's way too dangerous. They've been targeting all of us in many different nasty ways. And so, but now I'm wondering, because of what I've remembered and how I've remembered it, if there is some kind of correlation between the JE issues and the US government or other governments. And now I'm wondering if maybe a 3-letter agency starting with a D and a 3-letter agency starting with a C and some other agencies had that individual taken out. That's all I'm going to say on it, but that's what I'm wondering. Think about these things, folks. Start making connections. Why is it this one individual that I saw taken out, and why I know that in his real life he was listed as missing, as a human missing? How is it I know that? So those are very serious subjects. Those are very serious accusations. But that's where I'm at right now. This is not exactly what I had anticipated in talking about today. Not even remotely. But this is where I'm at right now. So I want to get back to Amy's statement or comment. Here is a thought, and I must be careful. They have higher tech, advanced tricks, evolved legality, and may even mean advanced warriors. Yes, they do have advanced warriors, Amy. I've seen them. I've worked with them. Can I give you their names? No, but it's interesting that I'm starting to recognize people. It's interesting that I'm starting to not only recognize faces, I'm starting to recognize people's energy and going, oh my God, you are part of this. Am I saying that to their face? No, because it's not for me to tell them what it is that I've witnessed from them, unless we're doing that privately, having that conversation privately. And then that's when all of that will start coming out. Yeah. And she goes on and says, but where is the heart? Where is the advanced wisdom from then? Exactly. Exactly. Drew says, good point, Amy. And he says, don't want to overload on memories. Very true. I mean, I had a meltdown last night because of what I remembered. And I'm very, very thankful for one individual who was on the phone with me at the time. I mean, it was a big deal. All because of a information fact-finding set of questions I had, not regarding any of that. But it obviously, the conversation triggered memories. I mean, like lots of memories. And I had a full-on hardcore reaction to those memories. I hate repressed memories. They're not fun by any stretch. Simon, true, it might be too much all at once. Yes, it for some people it can be. That's why I won't. That's one of the reasons why I won't do it, and that's one of the reasons why now, because I'm in a different, after this move, I'm in a different phase in my life to where I can acknowledge these things that are taking place in the memories, and process them. And this is a process, folks. I have talked about that. I will repeatedly talk about that over and over and time again, because it is a process in what those of us who have experienced these kinds of things. I was in the physical body. Granted, I was not in one of my clone bodies. I was not in active. I was not. I'm going to call it active duty because I don't know what else to call it. I was not active duty in the field at the time in a clone body. I was active in, and the individual that I saw taken out, he was in his original body. He was not in a clone body at the time. That's why I was so upset. Though he did have clone bodies. I have no idea what happened to his consciousness or any of that. I just know that he was then listed. His family believes he's, and I honestly, I do not know his family. I don't know anything other than what, I mean, it's not in me right now. I mean, the memories are not coming up. But I'm very angry about this. And I'm very, very angry over the military man who was standing behind me, ordering me to relay certain information to those that were in the field. And the fact that he was even touching me. And yes, I know who you are. And I'm livid with you. And yeah, I know your name. And full rank. So, I know what you did in the 90s. I know what you did in the early 2000s. After that, don't have memory of you after that. At least not right now. And yeah, I know, me stating that publicly, like I am right now, I know how dangerous that is for me. I get that. But right now, I'm not going to do anything about it because I have to process. I have to digest all of this shit. And it is shit. It's crap you MFers did to us from childhood. And I am not okay with that. So, Drew, the missing elite actors list of names. Yeah. Simon, for sure. Bribery goes a long way on politics. Yeah. In politics, I meant, he said. Yeah, definitely. Drew, I believe the 85,000 border kids went somewhere. Think about it. Simon, Nikki, who are the super soldiers sent to fight? There's a lot of people. A lot of them were taken at childhood or early teens. And a lot of them, their psyche is broken and they have what are called alters. Apparently, I don't have alters. I don't know. I've never had experiences of that nature, but I had a situation 2 days ago that frightened me. Now, I haven't been able to confirm with my spirit guides what I heard. Was an altar or if it was from them. I believe it was from them, but I've never had any experience, to my knowledge, that I'm anything like that. I don't think I'm used in that way. I think I'm used in very specific other ways. I know that I've had hand-to-hand combat as a clone in a clone body where they've subdivided my higher consciousness out. Things are starting to make sense to me now. Things to where the reason why they subdivide they have the ETs specifically subdivide the higher consciousness out from the body, so that consciousness can be put into a clone body and the clone body can do work. It's like that is a form of an alter, but not a psychological alter. It's a form of a physical alter. I mean, you literally have a different body. When they put me in one of my clone bodies, I mean, you're tested. You are tested rigorously. There we go, rigorously. You are tested hardcore. So it's a really big deal how they test. They test the higher consciousness and they test the physical body, the clone body. If you have a physical body that they're testing, it's done very differently. Yeah, Drew says rigorously tested and tested again. Yes, exactly. Regarding Simon, the super soldier sent to fight, who are they? I just know them when I come across them. I get drawn to them and I don't know why. I can make assumptions based on what I experienced last night with my memories. Because I'm witnessing them. And my video just went. Somebody let me know if I'm still live. It may show that I'm still, still shows I'm 28 minutes into this, but somebody let me know. Please let me know that you can still hear me and still see me. This is one of the reasons why I'm wondering if someone's screwing with my... Yeah, okay. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. Somebody's screwing with my computer system and with... thank you, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Screwing with my computer system and my internet because of the things that I'm talking about. So one of my processes of things that I'm doing for myself, like I'm wearing one of my favorite necklaces. Oddly enough, goes with the shirt in weird ways, but it does. I'm also using body spray right now, and washing. So with washing hands with scented soap, I pulled out the different scented soaps that I want, that I keep for things like this. When I start having flashbacks and things. Oh, good God. Sorry, guys. Excuse me. I do apologize. Anyhow, so the point being that I'm doing different things to take care of myself. I have not been outside today. I need to do that. I need to go walk outside. I need to be around the trees and the plants, bushes, and things like that. And oddly enough, there's a lot of wild rabbits here, and a few wild coyotes. And I'll stay away from the coyotes. Thank you very much. I know somebody that they were hunting, a human being that they were hunting when the person was walking. So I was like, oh, that's not good. So that's kind of a big deal. Yeah, Drew says, Big Brother's always watching. Yeah, hardcore. So these things are a really big deal. So I'm learning that not only am I an ET abductee, but I am an ET government abductee as well. I still haven't figured out who the third race is that abducts me. But I know that one, my gut instinct is that one is for nefarious reasons, much deeper than what the ET government ones are doing. And that kind of, I think, scares me more than anything else. I'm extremely angry over what I'm learning. And being as angry as I am over these subject matters, it concerns me greatly how the global governments, because it's not just the US government doing this, I've seen soldiers, I've seen government soldiers, different countries, different things on their shoulders, different tags from different countries, different uniforms. So that's huge. That's something to take real serious notice of, folks. So during this process, I'm doing different things to take care of myself, psychologically and physically, and all of that. So outside of the norm. And that is really crucial to getting through all of this. Yeah, that is being generous, Amy. So Amy said, so really the non-government one that you can identify is decent, being generous. Yeah, they're not decent. No. The ones that are working, okay, so the ET and government ones, they're not decent, but it's very insidious. It's very corrupt. And there is a purpose, and there's a global purpose. That I know. That is not just instinct, it is in every cell in my body. It screams at me every time I start having memories. It starts screaming at me hardcore about that this is a global purpose, that our men and women, and there are women, last night I can confirm two. I kept wanting to say three women, but I was like, I resigned myself to go, no, I can definitely say there are two women. The rest of the people that were soldiers, they're men. And many of them were not They're not regular military men and women. They're not with rank. They're average citizen, average Joe Schmo Blow. They're average citizen of whatever country. I just, to wrap my brain around this, pet peeve, sorry. To wrap my brain around this is been really difficult for me. But I'm understanding it now. I'm starting to see more. I'm starting to understand more of it. And that is huge. Private sector. Drew says the world is a stage, deception and deception. Private sector. This is the average, everyday mom and pop. They could be business person. They could be average worker. Hell, they could even be a multimillionaire and not even know that they're involved in this. I mean, think about that. This governments are using. Oh, look at me, little kid. Started this at well, the very first memory I have of them is at 8 years old. The other ETs I remember at 4. Why take an 8-year-old? Why take an 8-year-old? Well, it's to start train them. The one memory that I have that I actually treasure, last week I remembered, or not this past weekend, the weekend before last. Anyway, I remembered being in a, how do I describe it? Like an little ET ship for kid sized. And I kept calling it a sled. And the only reason I call it a sled is because that's what it reminds me of. And I was told it's a sled. It had a name before the words. It had a name before the word sled. It had the name sled, and then it had something after it. It's a 3-worded, like a phrase, but it essentially is like a bobsled. And I have memories of driving that thing, and you drive it with your mind. There's no like this, but I remember back and forth like that. So I have things like that I treasure. I have a memory to where, and I think it's a convoluted memory because I think something is trying to transpose over it. So I have what I call the good ETs, or the ETs that were dealing with me at 4 years old. I have that, but then I have this something that tries to come into that memory, and it's like it tries to corrupt it. I don't know how else to explain it. Now, I don't know if that's the good ETs or if that's the bad ETs. But I know I was 6 in that sled. I was 6 years old in that sled. So, so I wouldn't call it, so Drew, I wouldn't call it private sector at all. I would say that it's more along the lines of general public. But yet at the same time, I know that we are individually targeted for a specific reason, taken for a specific reason. Now, certain races of ET, they take us because of the genetics, the blood, the genetics, whatever. But this ET government faction, I don't understand why they take us yet. Those memories haven't surfaced yet. Over time, they probably will. Amy, in order to get them to do what they are doing, you would pretty much either need to recruit from sociopaths or train them to be that way. Yes and no. Simon says, how are they selected? I wonder. That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering because my dad was Air Force. Granted, he was only Air Force for 2 years, and I only found that out after he died. I only found that out because the information was sent to me. So, I have the documents. Or document. It was in an envelope, and I'm trying to remember if there were 2 or 3 pieces of paper to that. But anyway, the point is that I received information that specifically showed me that, oh my God, he was U.S. Air Force for 2 years at a specific time frame, and honorably discharged after those 2 years. My grandfather, his father, my dad's father was Coast Guard. I've got great uncles, and a number of like second or third cousins. I can't remember but they're cousins, and they're all Navy. I've had other family who were Army, like great uncle, one of my great uncle's grandsons, if I remember. Oh, guys, I'd have to go back into the family history and dynamics, but he was Army, if I remember correctly, because I remember when I was, God, I think I was 10 years old at my great aunt and uncle's house, and my other great uncle was there sitting on the couch with his, thought it was his adult grandson, and the adult grandson was in a Army uniform from the 1970s, an Army uniform, but he was some kind of an officer, and that's all I remember, because I remember the uniform very, very clearly. But I remember standing behind not my grandfather, my great uncle's recliner, and had my hand on his shoulder, and he had his hand up on, because he treated me like a granddaughter. My great uncle, who was the woodworker, I was I was very well taken care of by family. And it was kind of a community project to help my mom take care of me, in some fashion or form. And I've had other cousins that were kind of forgotten about. No, honey, you were never forgotten about. You're very much loved. But it's just, so I still try to, what makes the determination of a kid being taken in that fashion to then be trained in very specific ways. And one of the quotes that I remember as a child, and I didn't actually have this memory until a week and a half ago, something along those lines, because it was literally, I overheard. I was standing in the room at the time. I don't know how old I was. I had to have been something around the ages between 8 and 10, maybe 8 and 11 years old. But I have a distinct memory where, sorry, I had something. Anyway, piece of metal. I was standing in the room, and an officer, was a military officer, was in the process of having a conversation with, I'm assuming, an ET, because that's what it feels like. I don't remember the ET. I remember the sensation. I remember the body feeling. And I remember seeing this officer. And I don't know how I knew he was an officer. I just know that he was an officer. And he and the ET are having a verbal conversation, which to me, I think of that now and I'm like, how is that? I mean, because most of them, they were all telepathic. They were all telepathic. So why would they have a conversation verbally? Was it to deliberately have me hear this conversation? But yet, by that point and age, I was already telepathic with the ETs. So it's like, what the hell? How does that even make sense? So, like I say, this is all part and parcel to a process. But my point is I overheard them. They weren't even, I'm trying to think of how far away that is. They weren't even 5 feet away from me when they were having this conversation. And it was basically, I was unhypnotizable. That's what I was told. Well, that kind of came in March of 2019. I had a government asshat in public try to manipulatively hypnotize me while standing in a group of people. He's also the same MFer who turned my name over to, because I asked about the book. Ouch. But he's the one, and he came running back. Walking is how I suppose I should say it, because technically he was walking with those long legs, but he was walking really fast, coming up to me to find out if I had remembered anything more so that he could get the information and glean information from me. And I was the following day. But that night, when he was in the process of doing it, my literal instinct in my gut told me to cut him off. And I did. I cut him off. And it literally, I mean, he was trying. There was a whole thing about it. And only few people know the real details about it. Ever before I got told that I was going to be legally sued if I ever talked about this. Well, F you. I've never publicly stated the name. So anyway, yeah, I understand, Amy. Selection from a family of military service and ranks. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Free. Do what they are doing, you would pretty much either need to recruit the. Where are you saying free from? Interesting. Okay, I'm not going to repeat that on publicly, but I understand, Amy. I totally get that. But yeah, I mean, so I only have that memory of the quote, she's unhypnotizable. I won't forget the voice. And I'm sure if I hear that voice again, I may end up projectile vomiting on the spot because I didn't like that person. And I didn't like the ET. So this is a process. This is how do you process all this information? How do you deal with all of it very carefully? You take very good care of yourself during these memories. That's why I treasure, where are you? That's why I treasure this memory. I have things that I absolutely love. I have memories of my hybrid children. I absolutely treasure those memories. I don't have memories of all of my children. I was about to call them my great children. But I have many memories of many of them. So, yeah, this is not at all what I wanted to talk about. That's a great question, Simon. Nikki, do your spirit guides ever interject during these ET encounters? Could they if they wanted to? They could, but it would get them into trouble. That much I know. I know that there are ET spirits. There are spirits who are deceased ETs. I know that because of their higher frequencies, they could intervene and not get into trouble. The spirit guides themselves for a human being, yeah, it would get them into trouble. Excellent question, Simon. It gets really convoluted. Really, really convoluted. Yeah, it's very, very complex. So Simon says, okay, so complex, all these rules. Yeah, it's very complex and very, in a lot of ways, in my opinion, very convoluted. So just think about all of that. Think about all of how that, ouch, 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 ouch. Sorry, I'm trying to get this lid off. I get to talking and my lips get dry, and then that just makes things. Okay, product promotion. I love this company. I just Adama Adama Minerals lip balm. Really, really good. Anyway, highly recommend them. Anyhow, manufactured for Zion Health Incorporated out of San Francisco. Very good company. I really like them. So anyhow, there we go. That was the other thing. As soon as I started having more memories, I instantaneously got sleepy. That's very normal. Just an FYI, if you are an ET abductee and you are remembering different things, one of the things that they try to get you to do is to fall asleep so that you won't remember it. So, or that they can start working. Anyway, yeah, this stuff gets really, it's very difficult to deal with. It's very difficult to look at. And it's very difficult to handle all the memories. And I already know there are specific reasons why I'm supposed to be talking about this. I'm supposed to be talking publicly about this. And okay, so I'm supposed to talk about it. What else am I supposed to talk about? In what way? So on that note, that's awesome, Amy. I like that. That's great. I'm not reading that one either because it'll call that person out. But I like that. That's awesome. That's really good. Okay, so but do. So let's see for the volume. Let me go down here. Whoops, dismiss. 1 second, folks. little bit of business I need to actually see. Okay, the ET acts of physical abductions. This was supposed to be the topic for today. The ET acts of physical abductions, the ET acts of higher consciousness abductions, both depending upon the race of ET who's doing the abductions and more subjects. Well, I guess we hit the and more subjects first. Anyway, so the actual acts of ET physical abduction, I can get into that and go into, yeah, it is good stuff in chapter. I completely agree. Sorry. So the actual physical act of ET abductions, depending upon the race that is doing the abducting, some folks are transported up via a beam. Some are allowed to remember and to go. Others, many others are not allowed to remember because, hello, it's against their will. They don't want to go. And that makes it, they can be violent, which is why the ETs knock you out. Ouch, 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 ouch. Sorry, I'm getting a really negative nerve pain. And that's the other thing. This stuff kicked in. All these memories and the trauma memories in my body ended up causing ouch. There we go. Okay, ended up causing a great deal of nerve pain, and my hands, both hands, more specifically one versus the other, but both hands and feet were twitching. Thank God I didn't do the eye twitch because that can be really obnoxious. But yeah, my nerves went off the charts, and I was downing homeopathic nerve pills like it was going out of style. Last night it's down to a low roar, but you get that sharp pain and wow, gets nasty. Anyway, so the actual physical act of an ET abduction, depending upon which race is taking you, for example, with me, they typically take me when I'm asleep. They want it because it's easier for them, basically, is what it boils down to. And I don't fight. And you typically know if you wake up or waking up in your consciousness state. See, just because I'm talking about this, I'm starting with the yawn now, which is very annoying and obnoxious. But they are, and anyway, so they will keep you under so that they can take you physically. And there's something that they do to the body, and they can raise it. It screws with your frequency level in a very, very specific way, and you literally come out of, some people, not everybody, some people end up with their clothing while on board ship. I'm not one that does. When I'm taken by the more positive ETs, I have a hard time calling them that, but in comparison to the ones who work with the government, very detrimental. But the other ones, they raise your frequency level to a very, very specific frequency, and your body literally comes through the materials. So your clothing that you're wearing, the blankets, the sheets, the blankets, whatever you're laying on or in, I mean, you're gone. I have known where they literally can put an image to make it look like and sound like you're still there when you're not. Figure that one out. I don't know how that's done. I don't really care. I know other people want to know. I'm way beyond that. I'm way beyond remembering that kind of stuff. I don't care. At least right now I don't. Sorry. I'm my body is, I need to be fidgeting with something. I need a fidget spinner or something. I don't always have to have one. I haven't ever really, but when I start getting through this and I'm, like I said, it's a process. My body is reacting, my brain is reacting. It's not on overload right now, but it's still stressed out and it's needing to do different things. So I'll probably be doing some hand sewing tonight, if I don't crash out first. But my point is, with the ET abductions, you come through the close. You're knocked out. You're literally, your brain is formulated towards, they trigger an unconscious reaction. You literally have no control of your body in whatsoever. It's like putting somebody under anesthesia. That's not what they do. They use, it's a frequency. It's a frequency wave and frequency energy, and it literally, in a very specific part of the brain, that's what it does. It acts on the brain a very specific way. You're knocked out. You have no control over your body whatsoever. And if you wake up, your eyes are forced to stay closed. You will not be able to control your eyelids. That's not an option. Will not happen. So, but you're awake and you're aware, but you can't move. That makes things very difficult. So, all that said, they just lift you right up and you're gone. And you literally go through walls, ceilings, roofs, windows. Going through glass is very different than going through. I don't like going through glass. It is wicked beyond extreme. Really freaking wicked. The feel of going through glass is almost to the point of being painful versus going through wood or even electricity cords. I would almost prefer going through electricity cords than going through glass. It's your body, when you go through glass and they have made your frequency so where you literally can go through the glass, through a window, there's something that happens to the glass with the frequency that they're using. And I've never been able to describe it. I don't know what it is. I can't even describe how it feels. It's a sensation that it's like fingernails on a chalkboard or straight pins on a chalkboard. I mean, it's very grating on the soul, on the spirit of the body, on the frequency of, it's wicked. Wicked. Ugh. So that's, I get very, I get really bitchy with them when they have taken me through windows, especially plate glass windows. So I get very angry with them over that. And interesting enough, I've not heard anybody talk about that kind of thing. But anyway, that's what it is for me. What else? I know other people when they get taken. See, here we go. Sorry, guys. No, it's okay. So that's another really good question, Simon. Simon's got a question and he says, Nikki, any idea how they do it? Is it breaking up your atoms or switching a time when the house wasn't there? No, they literally put it's a vibrational energy wave. That's the only way I know how to describe it. That's an excellent question, Simon. I'm not sciencey enough to be able to give you the real in-depth. This is what I know. When it happens to you, what it feels like is you're there and then you're not. No, they can pull you through that, Amy. That's another really good. That's a really excellent comment. I've been taken. Yeah, be careful how I say that. I was in Nevada and was taken once. They can take you through. They can take you through copper. I've been taken as a child through copper. I've been taken through lead pipes before, but not like a 2-foot wall, 2-foot thick wall or anything like that. But I've been taken through lead pipes before. I've been taken through copper pipes before, and I between copper and glass, I'd rather be taken through copper. Actually, copper feels really much better on the body. Anyway, the point is that regarding it's a frequency, it's like an energy wave. That's kind of how it feels. It's like you can feel, like I can feel my physical body, right? Okay. Pat, 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 right? When I'm gone, if I'm allowed to move, which is extremely rare, but if I'm allowed to move, this hand would literally go through this arm. It's not physically there. But it's enough to where I'm physical for them in the frequency they put me in because they're in the same frequency. Does that make sense? Excuse me. So Simon says maybe the same technique they use on their craft. I don't know. I know that the ouch, stretch. I know that their ships, the real ET ships, the ones that the ETs have made that are not ET government made. I know that the real ET ships, the insides of the ships are bio. They're biological. They're conscious. I don't understand what makes them work. I just know that they are inside of them. They are completely conscious. All the walls can move if they so choose to do so. I don't know how I don't get it. I don't get the science of it. I'm really way out of my league on that one. But I know the outside of their ship is not like that at all. It's not bio, but the inside is. I also even have the thought of, well, maybe it's just when I have this thought, I put a kibosh on it because I'm like, no, because what I have experienced, I've walked down hallways where the walls have been bio, the floor have been bio. So it's been conscious. And the thought that I put a kibosh on is, well, maybe it's only the floors and the walls and not the ceilings. Or maybe it's some sections, like some floors are that way, whereas other floors are not. They're ET made versus ET bio made. I don't know. I don't understand the science of it. So and that's way, 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 way beyond how I understand any of it. So I wonder if that's why they take cow DNA to build conscious craft. Not a clue. That's a totally different subject. I know nothing. I mean, all I know is what is publicly talked about regarding that, Simon. Honestly, to be quite honest, I believe that's a completely different race of ET that are taking the cows, the DNA for the cows. Um, I believe that's used for interesting, very, very different. I was going to say products. That's not what I meant. It's a different process and a different race of ET. I know that it's a different race of ET. Yeah, cattle mutilation, says Drew. Yeah. Um, so I don't know. There are things that I can answer. I mean, like I say, if I can answer something, I will. If I can't, I'll flat out tell you I can't. Um, Simon, Earth is like a buffet to them by the sounds of it. Yeah, for some of them it is. Humans are a delicacy. Depends on what race, but not all ETs eat human. God, I need to clarify that. Jeez. That could get really convoluted. But anyway, ouch, sorry. My feet, I really need to pop my toes. They're driving me nuts. Because the nerves in my feet. But anyway, so it's quite the issue regarding how all of this plays out. There's so many different races of ET that do come to Earth. Not all of them are bad. Not all of them are good. And by saying not all of them are good, I also mean that not all of them are. There are some people that classify ET as demon. No, demons are a completely different ballgame, people. Totally and completely different thing. Rough and chewy, like a rubber. Simon, to be fair, I'd eat an ET. I'm assuming you said to see if they were low in cholesterol. Yeah, I don't know about low in cholesterol, but eesh. I've felt the skin of a lot of different ETs, and they're kind of on the rough and rubbery side. How else do you describe that? Seriously, how else do you describe that? Oh, we're getting into the conversation of our Keith Andrews. Because he's had conversations with Dave Scott and on SOR, at which I am. There is one of my most favorite episodes of SOR with Dave Scott and our Keith Andrews, and it's from I think 2019, and David Arquette, I love it. I've have yet to come across it again, but it's something that I'd like to hunt down because it's really good. They get into a conversation about ETs and um, humans and what do ETs eat, and they had the chat, and anybody who was listening just in hysterics. It was it was primo. I gotta find it. I remember it in the early, like the first 6 months of 2019, but I may be wrong. But yeah, it was worth listening to. It's one of my favorite episodes that they did. But anyway, yeah, I gotta dig that one up. I gotta put that in my one of the file folders because it's a good one. It's a good episode. Anyway, um, I really enjoyed Keith's information and all of that. Yeah. Simon says, our Keith's a great guy. Have been missing his shows. Yeah, he's been away for a bit. But yeah, it's and I'll try and remember to put a link in for his show and Dave's show, since I mentioned the two of them. Because I like to do that if I talk about different shows. Oh, speaking of shows, um, tomorrow night between 10 and midnight, 10 p.m. Pacific time and midnight, the S4 bunker, or the S4 paranormal bunker, is going to be talking about MK Ultra. Yeah, SOR will be on in 13 minutes, something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna 12 minutes. Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna end this pretty quickly here, but anyway, so the S4 paranormal bunker will be talking about, or the S4 bunker on Spreaker.com, tomorrow night between 10 p.m. and midnight Pacific time in the United States, that is. We will be having a conversation about MK Ultra and all the little projects surrounding it. So it'll be an interesting conversation, especially with all of us. I don't know if all of us psychics are going to be on, but when all three of us are on, whoo, the fur flies. So it gets interesting sometimes. So I will put a link to Spreaker for the live show, and then come back after the show is done and try and remember to put the actual link for the YouTube link for it, so that if you want to hit the replay, you can. Anyway, so it's yeah, there's me, Robert. Oh, four of us psychics. If all four of us end up being on, because our Keith Andrews comes on that show periodically too. So there's me and Robert White and Rosella. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Rosella. I forgot your last name. Oh my God. Oh, that's not good. Sorry, dear. And our Keith Andrews. So there's I gotta look her name up, because now that's gonna drive me nuts. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Let's go into this. Let's see. I want to be sure that I get the name. That's just not cool that I literally spaced off her last name. That's not okay. There we go. Rosella C. Rowe. C and then Rowe, R-O-W-E. Anyway, she's a good psychic. There we go. So yeah, if we all get on there, all four of us, it gets interesting. So you never know. Anyway, so I guess that's it. I don't know what. We didn't really get into. I do know that there are other methods that are ET abductions, the physical act of ET abductions. Some people are taken out of vehicles. I was one of those, but I was a kid at the time. My mom was an adult. I've been taken out of, well, not this chair, but I've been taken out of chairs I've been in. To my memory, to my knowledge right now, I have not been taken. Simon. Simon says, great show, Nikki. Nice to hear you laughing. No more yawning, please. Making me tired. See you, everyone. Bye, Simon. It's good to see you, sweetie. Yeah, I can't help it. That's part and parcel. Oh, no. That's part and parcel to this conversation with an abductee or with somebody who's gone through these kind of things. So anyway, come and join us tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Pacific time. No, that's actually that's an excellent question, Amy. When you were taken, did anyone ever notice you were gone? No, they did not. We were over 6 hours late in California to meet with, and actually we were over 8 hours because we were going to be there 2 hours early. And so that was a little concerning for the family why we were 6 hours late. Because back in the 70s, you didn't have cell phones, not like you didn't have public cell phones. You had public pay phones and things like that, or CBs to deal with. Mom and I did not have a CB, though my great uncles did at the time. My great uncles were very, very well known for, ouch, there we go, for oh, Simon, those are great questions, honey. Anyway, it is great for things, for them, for traveling, for camping, things like that. No, we had, that was our only, what I think of as only our only major missing time. Most of the time when I have been taken, I've been taken out of bed. So that's been a huge, thing. Very, very huge thing. So, I don't know about other family members. I don't know. I know that other people have had missing time and where were you and why were you not here? That's very difficult. So makes it tough. I didn't have that experience. That wasn't my experience. It's very frustrating. And that's one of the things where it makes it very difficult to figure out abductions. When you don't have a great deal of missing time, or you've got little pieces here and there, like missing 20 minutes, or you think you're missing 20 minutes, but something's doesn't jive, or you just chalk it up to the fact, oh, I must have fallen asleep. Well, were you out walking? You couldn't have fallen asleep while you were walking. What the heck? So there are things that way. Anyhow, I did want to respond. Simon, you had taken it, you retracted the message, but it was something about shark skin. Yeah, some ETs, it's real similar to shark skin, but it's also similar to leather. But it's also similar to like iguana. Like the tall, what I call the tall whites that aren't really tall white, but their skin, I call it, it reminds me of pleather. It's really, really soft. Well, it depends on which tall white you're dealing with. But there's one tall white where I've actually had my arms around his leg when I was a kid, and it was very soft. The skin was very soft. Very, very skinny, but very soft. Then I've had my hands on an arm of an ET, And it's like leather. I mean, it's like rough leather. Which is why I was commenting on the things that I was commenting on. So, wow, honey. Okay, I get it. Don't know why you don't want to be in the chat, but that's okay. Anyhow, but I'm really, really appreciative that you asked all the questions that you did. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. So what else? What else was I going to say before? Because I've got 4 minutes, so I want to end here. ET higher consciousness. Yeah, there's a race of ET that take via higher consciousness. I know the military does too. The ETs that work with the military, I know that they do via higher consciousness as well. That's why I get told to shut off. That's why they shut off, not me told to shut off, but I get told they're shutting off the consciousness because our speed is faster. We're more accurate with our running. We're more accurate with our weapons draw. We're more accurate with our firing of the weapons, ET weapons. We're more accurate if we're using swords. I was just about to say cannons, and I don't know where the hell that came from. But anyway, so all of that comes into play. Next week, I think I'm going to be back to Thursday, but I'm not 100% sure. Or am I going to do Tuesday? No, next week I'm going to do Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's kind of going to be a little all over the place, but I am going to do 7 p.m. Next Tuesday, September 3rd. So anyway, that is what we're going to be doing. I don't know the conversation or the subject matter. Depends. Could be anything. I'll think about it tonight and have more of a get it figured out. It may be an open chat. We'll see. And since there were only yeah, I understand that. Amy's saying I still miss the overnight shows. I understand that. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do that. So, because that's deals with a whole different subject. Anyway, on that note, I will talk to you guys later. I hope you have a very good rest of your week. Take very good care of yourselves. Remember, these are a process. Be good to yourself. Remember to take really good care. Find different ways of doing things that work for you. And remember to create joy. It's hard to do sometimes, but it can be done. Shifting the negative to the positive. I am a living example of that. It can be done. It's hard to do, but it can be done. Take very good care, guys. Bye. I'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Bye, guys.